I want to go from 78 kilos to 82 kilos at sub 10% body fat in a year using no exogenous testosterone peptides or SARMs with AI as my PT. Can it be done? For those of you that can do basic math, that is 4 kilograms of lean muscle gain. No easy feat as a natural lifter in his 30s. Now, a bit of backstory. I have been weight training and running for about 20 years, but despite this training experience, I have mostly maintained a mid physique with a few glimpses of looking okay. This ends now. I've set the goal of being the most jacked and shredded dad at kids' swimming lessons. Can I achieve a good physique at 35 years old? But to up the ante a little bit, not only am I a 35-year-old with a mid physique, but I also broke my back. It's an old work injury we can talk about another time, but it still gives me issues. So how far can I push it as someone who suffers from back pain? I started going to the gym when I was 15 years old and have been relatively consistent throughout the 20 years. Had a bit of time off here and there for injuries and other training blocks that I've wanted to do. I've also been a casual runner, doing the odd half marathon and trying to be an all-rounder before the term hybrid athlete was around. However, I've only had a couple of times where my physique was actually kind of half decent. After a few blocks of training really hard and doing heaps of zone 2, I looked pretty good sometimes. And these were usually times when I worked overseas and had heaps of time to go to the gym. But in terms of diet, I've had a few goes at tracking calories, but I've never really stuck with it long term. Or I did, but I didn't really do it properly. I think I overrode my macros to what I thought was right and didn't really hit optimum nutrition. So I've more gravitated towards being into IF or intermittent fasting because it seems like a convenient way to avoid tracking calories while not overeating. Never really liked keto, as I tried carnivore one time and on day 2 I was cleaning the gutters and I nearly fell off the roof. This all culminated in me training really hard last year and I was getting pretty lean, but I was undercarbohydrated. And I kind of landed in this weird IF headspace of low carb, and I just ended up not eating enough carbs. So I ended up being kind of lean, but also just kind of skinny. And all the comments weren't, hey, you look jacked. It was kind of like, oh, you look skinny and you've lost a lot of weight. So at the start of this year, I said, enough is enough, and I want to get jacked and shredded. It annoyed me that after 20 years of weightlifting, I'd only had a mid physique to show for it. Maybe it's just that due to social media and steroids, there's now this hypergymflation where literal superhero physiques from the 2000s are now mid AF. But I wanted to see how much I could do and how jacked and shredded I could get. So I did what anyone does these days, and I asked ChatGPT. I logged a couple of normal days worth of meals, including calories and macros, and gave it to AI. The results were pretty interesting. First off, it told me to eat more carbs. I was eating way too little and in a severe calorie deficit. This meant that I depleted my glycogen in my muscles. So despite having muscles, they were deflated and I just looked skinny. So the first thing I did was replenish. I ate at maintenance for 2 weeks and almost doubled my carbohydrates. And I must say, I noticed a few things very quickly. Firstly, my sleep improved massively. The more carbs I had, the better I slept. As someone who has struggled with sleep over the years, I found this to be a game changer. Second thing I noticed was my energy improved massively. I just felt way better and my workouts felt better. After a week of maintenance and replenishment, it was time to cut. I dropped calories to 200 below maintenance and started a slow and controlled cut. I started to get noticeably leaner, but I also stayed fuller. I looked more jacked, despite being at a lower weight than my previous lowest weight. My starting weight was 82.8, which was low for me because my average weight over the last 10 years is about 85 or more kilos. But within 8 weeks, I clocked in at 78.1 kilograms and ChatGPT analyzed my photos at 9.5 to 10.5% body fat. I didn't do any scans or anything. I just went by looks and what ChatGPT said. From there, I've been bulking at 200 calories above maintenance with a daily calorie target of 2650 calories. And I've come up to 80.5 as of last week, but last week I got gastro and was pretty sick, so I've kind of dropped a little bit below that, but I'm getting back into the swing of it now. So how will I achieve this goal? Well, I'm using AI as my PT. I upload my photos to see any lagging body parts and get a program designed to train those areas. Those were lats, upper chest, and median delts. Been trying to fix those issues. I'm training 3 to 4 times per week in a push-pull leg split and getting 10,000 steps per day. Daily tracking calories, eating the same foods pretty much every day with a bit of variability for dinner and sometimes lunch, but being pretty consistent with maybe a 90% adherence rate to tracking and calorie macro targets. I have a daily creatine intake of between 10 and 15 grams per day, and my macro split is 40-40-20 carbs, protein, fats. I get between 7 to 8 hours sleep per night, as best I can with 2 young kids, and I've cut out alcohol pretty much for the most part. Trying to treat alcohol like married sex, birthdays and special occasions only. Weekly check-ins with AI, including photos, and I tell it what I'm struggling with or if any adjustments are needed. I hope to get between 82 and 83 kilograms with around about 10% body fat, which would be close to 4 kilos of lean muscle in 1 year with no exogenous compounds. Let's see if I can get this mid-physique into excellent shape within a year. despite injuries, and using AI as my trainer with no exogenous compounds. If you can relate to training for years just to not hit your physique goals, subscribe. Let's see what's possible as a dude to do naturally without pumping your body full of test. If you're a dude, a young dude maybe, and you're struggling to know what to do with your life, check out this video. It's on the male biological clock, and I made it the other day. A lot of people seem to have enjoyed it, so give it a look.